Would you like to help us map your area? Would you like to know how much nitrate is present in the water around you? From the University of Burgos in Castile and Leon and from CETA in Aragon, as part of the European project Life-Nitrazens, we want to offer you the chance to analyse the nitrates in your water, free of charge. If you live in any of these areas of the Duero Basin or the Ebro Basin, you can take part with us in two different ways. You can provide your water sample by taking part in the measurement campaigns, helping us to map the surroundings of your locality. If you want to go a step further, you can become an ambassador for the project. Ambassadors are key because they help to mobilise other people, organise the sampling points, and create a local network of participation. You can find more information at this address on our website. Keep an eye out because the first sample collection campaign began in May and will continue until August. What's more, throughout all these months, we are also providing training sessions for the ambassadors who will accompany and support participants throughout the entire process. We'll provide you with any type of promotional material you need, both printed and online. Ready to take part? At Life-Nitrazens, we want to remind you that something as simple as collecting a water sample will not only allow you to find out the nitrate levels in your area, but you will go much further as you will be generating real data on water quality, data that will become part of our nitrate visualization platform. And furthermore, thanks to this information, we will be able to better understand what is happening in the area and help to improve nitrate management. In short, your participation has a real impact. If you are ready to join us in Life-Nitrazens, the first step is to register as a participant. To do this, you can use the form available on our website or scan this QR code. On the form, you can specify the ambassador for your area if you know who they are. If not, don't worry, because we will put you in touch with the nearest ambassador. Once you have registered, the second step will be to add you to our WhatsApp community. This community will be managed by your ambassador and will include the other participants from your area. There, they'll let you know the next steps to follow. The ambassador, through the WhatsApp community, will be the one to keep you informed at all times. On the one hand, they will let you know when to collect the sample, publishing the dates of the mini campaigns. In addition, they will tell you where to find all the necessary information, protocols, tutorial videos, and user guides to carry out the sampling correctly. They will also explain how to use the sample geolocation app. And finally, they will be the one to give you the sampling kit. Therefore, once the ambassador has published the date of the mini campaign, they will need to hand it over to you. The sampling kit they will need to help you with downloading the Geonity app, tell you where to find all the necessary information, and finally, let you know to which node you should deliver the sample. What should you bear in mind before going out to sample? Preparations before sampling. Very simple. You need to check three fundamental things. First of all, that your sampling kit is complete. What does your participant kit include? A 50 milliliter bottle, correctly labelled. Each bottle has a unique code that must be entered into the Geonity app, which must be kept in perfect condition. Thank you, as this will allow us to track the traceability of a sample. The kit also includes an insulated bag, which will keep the sample protected from both light and heat. And as additional support, you'll have an infographic leaflet where you'll find the methodology on how to collect the water. Two, that you've downloaded the Geonity app and registered correctly. The Geonity app is available for both Android and iPhone versions. Once downloaded, you can log in with your Google accounts or register with another email address. Once you have registered, you will be able to access the two administration projects we have, one aimed at public access water and the other at privately owned water. If you are taking water from your own property, whether it be your house or your land, and you do not want those coordinates to be made public, you must register the sample using this private property project. If, on the other hand, you do not mind the coordinates and the exact location of the sample being public, the project you should use is the Public Access Water Project. Additionally, you will find all the information about registration and the Geonity application in the user guide available on the website. Three, choose the place where you want to take the sample before setting off. In Life-Nitrazens, you decide where you want to focus. Which places can I sample? Where can I collect the water sample? The water points you can sample are very varied. You can do this in natural surface waters, rivers, lakes or reservoirs, or in groundwater, such as wells or springs. You can also collect samples from the urban supply network, for example, from your household tap or a public fountain. And you can even take samples from other points, such as irrigation channels or other water-related areas. The important thing is to correctly identify the type of water. To do this, you can find a complete list available in our application guide. And if you don't know where to start, you can access the map in the GeoCity app and see the places that have already been sampled. And you can choose a different one. But remember, there are two golden rules for happy sampling. The first, your safety is the most important thing. Never take a sample if access is dangerous, slippery, or in an unstable area. If you can't access it easily, it's best to look for another spot. The second is to make sure that the sampling point or place you've chosen is publicly accessible. If it's a private well or a fenced property, always ask the owner's permission. Bear in mind that citizen science supports the conservation of resources and strengthens its communities. So remember that before you go out to take samples, you should have your sampling kit ready. Have the Geonity app downloaded and know how to use it, and have chosen the sampling location correctly. That way, when the time comes to take the sample, you'll already have everything prepared and ready, and you'll know what to do. All set. It's time to go out and collect the water sample. Sampling day begins. The first thing you should do is head to the place you've chosen to collect the sample. Once there, fill in the information requested by the Geonity app. It's important that you choose the exact spot where you'll collect the water, making sure it's suitable and accessible. Before taking the sample, carry out the triple rinse to properly prepare the container. Next, collect the water, making sure that no air bubbles remain. Once you've taken the sample, store it and protect it using the insulated bag. Finally, head to the node to deliver the sample. No need to rush, but don't dawdle either, ideally within 2 to 3 hours. Now, I'm going to explain each of the steps to follow on the sampling day in more detail. Once you're at the location you've chosen to collect the sample, as we've already mentioned, the first thing you need to do is geolocate the sample using the Geonity app. To do this, open the Geonity app and select the Life-Nitrazens project you consider appropriate. As we've already mentioned, there are two Life-Nitrazens projects, one aimed at public waters and the other at private waters. Choose the one that suits your sampling location. Next, activate your location. If you hadn't already activated it, you can now access and add a new observation. From there, fill in all the fields requested by the application. Next, you'll access these screens to register the sample. The application will ask you to enter the code. This code is the one that appears on the sampling kit. Enter the alphanumeric code correctly, which consists of 2 letters and 3 numbers. You can also add the sampling point, a name for the sampling point, and the name of the municipality and locality, although these fields are optional. Afterwards, you'll need to select the type of water. A list with different options will be displayed, and you simply need to choose the one that corresponds to the place where you're sampling. In addition, the application will ask you for further information about the turbidity, colour, and smell of a sample. Finally, you will need to choose the environment. Select the options that best match the environment you're in. Also, add a photo of the environment and another photo of the sampling location. Lastly, submit the observation. Thank you. And your sample will now be registered. Once you have finished registering the sample in the application, you can collect the water, but it is important that you first choose the exact spot where you are going to take the water from. For example, if you are by a river or a canal, try to collect the water where there is movement and, if possible, as far from the banks as you can, especially if you see dirt or a build-up of materials. In the case of lentic or stagnant waters, insert the bottle where you see the greatest depth. If you are at a spring, always choose the spout with the strongest flow or the greatest volume of water. Or, if on the other hand you are going to collect water from a well, bear in mind that you should allow some pumping time so that the pipe is properly purged before collecting the water. Once you know the exact spot where you are going to collect the water, the next step is to know how to collect it. The first thing you need to do is carry out a triple rinse to prepare and clean the container. Fill the container halfway, close it and shake it. Pour out the water and repeat this process 3 times. Once you have carried out the triple rinse, you can proceed to collect the water. Make sure there are no air bubbles left. To do this, fill the container until it overflows and close it while the water's spilling over. A tip to ensure there are no air bubbles left in the container is to tap the container gently or submerge it, open and close it while it's still underwater. Next, dry the outside of the container and make sure the label is in perfect condition. Now you can store it in the insulated bag to protect it from light and heat. Finally, take the sample to the node. Bear in mind that you have a maximum of 2 to 3 hours to deliver the sample to the node. And make sure at all times that the sample is kept protected inside the insulated bag. It must be protected from light and temperature so that its conditions are not altered. When you arrive at the node, they'll check the sample details and take charge of collecting your sample. In other words, the handover of custody will take place. From that moment on, the ambassador will become responsible for your sample. There, he will ensure the sample is kept properly refrigerated before it is sent to the laboratories. Thank you very much for taking part in our Life-Nitrazens project. And if you'd like to get even more involved and become an ambassador yourself, just ask us. Or if you have any questions, feel free to check our website.